Let's face it, whether you're a country boy or a lifelong city slicker, everyone has fantasized about spending a few days, weeks, or even years in the wilderness. The problem? Even though camping is romantic in theory, the reality of being in the woods for days on end presents a number of, well, complications. How can you stay hot when it's cold? How do you keep things cold when it's hot? In this video, I will show simple tricks, including 2 irreplaceable solutions for campers in cold climates to make your experience in the woods memorable. First up, how to keep your things cool in the summertime. Keeping your food chilled and your refreshments, well, refreshing, is one of the best ways to make sure your camping trip remains as enjoyable as possible. The last thing anyone wants when they come back from a 4-hour canoeing trip is to reach into the cooler for a cold beer and pull out some lukewarm Bud Light when the nearest convenience store is 50 miles away. Plus, the whole point of camping is to get away from people, not drive to them whenever you need the tiniest thing. The way most people handle this is either through buying numerous and expensive ice packs that you load your coolers with, or by going to the local supermarket and buying a dozen of those $3 bags of ice that melt almost instantly and turn your cooler into a septic pool with chips floating around like little life rafts for the ants. But there is a much better and cheaper way to make sure your drinks are cold and your perishables don't perish. Instead of buying the ice, buy jugs of water and freeze them before your trip. Due to the thickness of the ice, they will melt significantly slower and will radiate cool air to keep everything nice and chilled for much longer. The water jugs are actually built to withstand freezing temperatures, so you don't have to worry about them cracking and leaking all over the place. And as an added bonus, instead of dumping the water out once they melt, you'll have a couple of gallons of the most refreshing water imaginable, which will be major welcome 24 hours into your camping trip. Next, how do you keep the mosquitoes at bay? One of the biggest issues people have when camping is dealing with those pesky little insects. When you think about it, mosquitoes are essentially tiny vampires. They come out after dusk, they suck your blood, and carry pathogens, turn you into soulless, bloodthirsty nightwalkers. Okay, maybe not that last bit, but they do carry potentially lethal diseases. Now that I think of it, have you ever seen a mosquito in a mirror? I might be onto something here. Sorry for that tangent. The point, why would you ever subject yourself to millions of little blood-sucking demons in the middle of the woods when you can be safe and nuisance-free inside your air-conditioned apartment? Because just like vampires, there are certain scents that completely repel them and keep you safe from their unholy ways and allow you to listen to the soothing crackle of your fire pit and not the high-pitched hum of them in your ears. That's why bringing a few sticks of sage with you on your trip is a fantastic way to make sure they keep their distance and you keep your sanity. On Amazon, you can buy packs of 3 for under $10, which will be enough to last through your whole trip. Burn a little bit as soon as the sun sets, and either keep it smoldering by the fire or set them on the perimeter of the campsite to make sure they don't bother you. It's a fantastic and simple solution, and you have the added benefit of the beautiful scent of sage filling the campsite. Now we'll talk about a little hack that'll help you eat a decent meal when camping. Another gripe for hesitant campers is that they're stuck snacking and eating foods that are less than healthy and definitely less than appetizing. After all, it's not like you can bring your spice rack with you on your camping trip, right? Wrong. Spices are incredibly easy to pack with this little trick. The next time you stop at a fast food chain, just collect 5 to 6 additional straws from the drink counter, and voila, you have your spice containers. Well, not quite. To convert the straws into portable packets, you just need to melt one end, wait till it cools, add your spice, and then seal the other end shut. Just repeat that 5 to 6 times, and you have all the garlic powder, Italian seasoning, cumin, and chili flakes that you need to turn your meals into something you thought you could only get at home. For repeat use, just take out your lighter again and reseal the straws. But what about those cold campers you referred to in the beginning? Camping can be one of the most relaxing and rewarding experiences in life. But for people in the higher latitudes, where the nights can be incredibly cold, camping can also get dangerous. That's why it's important to bring as many blankets as you can muster and make sure you have all the essentials to stay warm on those chilly nights. But anyone who's camped can tell you it's near impossible to plan for every contingency and remember to bring every single thing you need. That's where these next 2 helpful little hacks come into play. Every camper has been there before. You collect all your dead pine and kindling, crumple up all your newspaper, stuff it inside a heaping mess of various sizes of wood, then you light the sucker. 2 minutes later, the astronauts on the ISS know the exact latitude and longitude of your campsite, and 30 minutes later, you're looking for more wood to keep it alive. It's a rite of passage for campers, so there's really no shame if this is how you like to build your fire. But if you need to keep the site as warm as possible for as long as possible, or you just don't want to grab the flashlight at 3 a.m. and hopelessly wander through the woods like a horror movie victim, then there's a simple trick that can help you build a lasting fire that keeps you cozy through the night. All you need to do is stack your materials in levels from thickset and slowest burning on the bottom to thinnest and fastest burning on the top. That means putting your whole or halved logs on the bottom, then your halved or quarter logs on top, and so on. Think of it as though you're building a pyramid and you want the strongest possible base. Once you've added all your logs, then it's time to stack the kindling. Just like before, keep the thicker kindling on the bottom of that layer and work your way up to the smaller stuff. On top of that is where your tinder goes. This is usually a combination of dead pine and newspaper, and it's the stuff that you actually put your match or lighter to that will slowly and steadily burn down to the rest of the wood. Side hack: Doritos and Fritos make fantastic kindling when you're in a pinch. And that's it. No need for gasoline or fireballs that light up the night sky like the 4th of July, unless of course that's what you're going for. Next, we'll talk about how to stay warm when you're heading to bed. The fire pyramid trick is fantastic for keeping everyone warm outside, but at some point you'll have to crawl inside your tent away from the fire and try to sleep in 40 to 50 degree temps. And it's not always feasible to bring a whole bunch of blankets and sleeping bags and nestle in between 8 different layers. So how do you stay warm? All you need to do is turn your spent water bottles into thermal pads by pouring some boiling water into the bottles and putting them inside your sleeping bag. If a pot or kettle is one of the things you happen to forget, then you can fill your bottles with lukewarm water and keep them about 5 to 10 feet away from the fire, depending on how hot it is, and then let the flames heat up the water from a safe distance. To maximize the heat, put at least one of the bottles down by your feet and one in between your thighs. That spot between your thighs has a high number of blood vessels that run through it, so it will help radiate the heat all throughout your body, keeping you nice and cozy even as the cool wind rages outside your tent. So that's it. You are now fully prepared to get your Jack London on and venture into the wild like a pro. You have the hacks to keep you cold while it's hot, keep you hot while it's cold, and keep the food tasting like Gordon Ramsay went camping with you instead of eating glorified prison food for the entirety of your trip. Please drop a comment and let us know your own camping hacks. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day.